So good morning, I'm Kathy Burns and I'm here today with Chris Stacy with Sirvent of Charlotte, and he is a chimney inspector and also sells lots of great equipment as well. And I want to welcome you, Chris.
Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah.
Taking your time to talk with me today.
Yes, I'm really happy to have you, and I really count on you. And some of the things that I wanted to go over with in this little video here is kind of talk to you about, I count on you countlessly for inspections for my buyers. I met you through BNI and Business Network International, and I thought when you started working, telling us what you did about the inspections of these different homes and the care of the chimneys, that was not on my list of inspections. And since then, you're at every inspection, at least I tell my clients I want that done. So could you kind of give us a little idea of who you think needs us besides realtors?
Any homeowner as well.
Mm-hmm.
Even folks any homeowner that has a fireplace, gas or wood.
Gas or wood.
Gas or wood should be inspected, cleaned if necessary on a yearly basis.
Right.
Also for folks that are, even if they were doing a for sale by owner, per se, and they're, all of the inspections and stuff are, I guess, are up to them.
Right.
But it still needs to be done because every transaction of every kind, the chimney should be inspected and cleaned if necessary.
Right. I've had people say, well, I've got that gas fireplace, it's got the door on it sealed in there. I'm sure I don't need to clean that, but that's not true, right?
Well, no, it's not, because you're still burning gas.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a combustible gas coming into the house under pressure. Those things, especially if they've been sitting for a while not being used, it's extremely humid here in the summers, so those things sit, and usually they're on exterior walls, so they sit and they condensate, and they start to rust, start to see surface rust, and they start to rust through. So, part of the inspection process is we take that glass off, we clean the glass, we inspect the burners, we inspect the firebox, we inspect everything that we can get our hands on.
Right.
To take a look at that thing is still in good operating condition.
Right.
It may work when they flip the switch, but there may be parts in it that are rusted, burners can be cracked, things like that.
Right.
That pose a safety issue.
And not everybody has a carbon monoxide detector in their house, which
no, they don't either. And that comes in more with vented fireplaces, not the direct vents, or ventless gas logs, which are in a lot of homes because it's the easiest thing for these builders to do.
Cost effective for them.
Cost effective, but it's also ventless logs are the ones that absolutely should be inspected and cleaned every year.
Yeah, and I don't think people get that. They just think, well, it's a gas fireplace, I don't need to really do it because it's not getting all that chimney debris up in the, what is, creosote.
Creosote or
creosote, yeah.
That's it.
I know you did an inspection for me, and I think this is a really important point for realtors. It was a relocation company, and this was my son's house, and they had the house pre-inspected. Supposedly all the things were done, and they were pitching it as, you don't need to do your inspections because we've done this and we've repaired things. And we found extensive issues, and I know you found a crack in the firebox, the cap on top, all kinds of issues with the fireplace that were a true fire hazard. And so you came in, inspected it, and took care of all that.
That case, that was a wood-burning fireplace.
Yes.
It was basically a metal box with concrete panels, refractory panels inside. Those panels get damaged fairly easily over time. And when they're cracked, they do pose a safety issue. So we replaced one or two, I don't really remember exactly, in that place. And also we found that the chase cover above was leaking.
Right.
It was rusted. Most of these houses around here were built with galvanized caps. Those have a 15 to 20 year lifespan before they start to rust and start to leak. Vast majority of homes around here are that 15 to 20 years old.
Yes.
So we replaced that. We used stainless steel, which is going to last basically forever. So we replaced that, and up there we found some wood that was rotting, some other issues up there. Got that replaced through the roofers that we use, that we work in conjunction with. He saw some other things. Him and I went up and did that inspection at the same time. We were there on the same day. So,
and I think how I first discovered to really use you, even though you were at BNI, was that Jim Sirvent with Bulldog Roofing, he was up on the roof and he goes, we need to get Chris out here because I see issues with the chimney. And so I was almost from then on that it was always hand in hand, because I always believe in the roof inspection too.
Mhm.
And I think it's an important component for people to be proactive, especially in a buy-sell transaction where they're paying attention to this, because this is the window of time where you can get things fixed if you're the buyer.
Mhm.
But it's important for the seller to know too. You know, I'd feel pretty awful if my house resulted in a fire where a family lived and I didn't even realize something was wrong. Even though I wasn't necessarily responsible for it, it is a buyer beware state. But the other thing that we learned today was new construction. You had done a chimney inspection on that, and I think everyone thinks when they're buying a new home that they don't need to do inspections, but they need to do inspections.
Yeah,
Tell them that story.
this one was, just did this on this past Monday, new construction on the house. I was there with the cleaning crew. They were cleaning the thing up, getting ready to hand it off to the new owner. And gas pressure coming into the fireplace was basically unregulated. It comes in, and when it's unregulated, it's at 10 to 15 times higher than it should be for that appliance to work properly and safely. So that was, you know, if it was allowed to run at that point, it would have overheated probably inside of 10 minutes and, you know, basically, you know, started a fire.
Right.
It was a definite fire hazard. So
Right.
And the homeowner would not have necessarily known. They would hit the switch, the thing would work and came on.
Yeah.
But, you know, little things, you know, through what we do every day, we know the difference, how they're supposed to look, how they're supposed to sound when we turn them on.
I think that's so important. You just don't think of it for new construction. People don't think of it for new construction, and probably fight a realtor if they're trying to get inspections, because you know it's additional fees. But it's important, and I've seen it on many things. I know even Jim has mentioned the roof can get damaged when those roofers are up there building, putting on the shingles. They're putting holes in the shingles themselves. So, not to get on that subject, but another thing I know that you do, and that's for the outside. You did an inspection for me on an outside grill and found some parts that he'd already been told were not replaceable, and that he would have to buy whole new components. So I thought that was important too.
Yeah, yeah, we do offer, you know, a full line of outdoor products, gas grills, fire pits, and all that stuff. But we do the repairs and cleanings on those as well. Gas grills can be expensive. That was that grill new was probably close to $3,000.
And it was built in. So
It's a
and
built-in.
you do those
It's
too?
not built in yet. We do those as well.
Do you do the stonework and stuff on that? or
No,
do you
I
have-
would. Well, it depends on what they're looking for.
Uh-huh.
You know, the manufacturer stones we would do, but if it's real stonework, that kind of thing, we'd probably farm that out. But we would do everything but that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is really becoming a popular thing. So I know you've got a whole line. You recently went to a convention or something.
Yeah. The Hearth Patio and Barbecue Association, their expo in Nashville.
Yeah.
About a month back, we went and saw a whole bunch of really new, really cool stuff.
Yeah. And one other thing I didn't want to forget, and that is dryer vent cleaning, which you also do, kind of unrelated but fire related. So you didn't inspect, and then I had an inspection done at my house, and it turned out that there was no vent whatsoever. I'm thinking it's going on in the crawl space, and you go, there's nothing there, Kathy.
Right, yeah. Your house, they were bending it, they took the pipe and were blowing it right into the crawl space. So you're piling up all that lint, which is, I don't know if you've ever seen it, one spark will light lint, just like, I mean, it's
awful.
It's highly flammable. I mean,
Yeah.
it's full of fabric softeners and everything else like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and your crawl space was getting full of that. So we put you in your dryer. We put you a rigid vent from there all the way out.
Yes.
Now it's something that can be maintained and cleaned and vented properly.
Right. And how often do you think it's important to have that vent cleaned?
I tell folks it depends on the usage, but I would not go more than 2 years.
Okay.
Single person, 1 to 2 people living in a home is probably, and it also depends on the length of the vent. If you got a vent that's 25 to 30 feet long, then that's going to obviously fill up quicker.
Yeah.
Shorter runs, but no more than 2 years to have that thing inspected to make sure that it's still, it's not leaking, it's not coming apart. You got something building up in there. Birds can come and build nests in those things if you're not using them a lot. They get clogged up quickly.
Yes, I think that's very important. I think if you're a homeowner, you need to be maintaining your house, and this is just part of it, and I'm a big advocate of it. Mine's a 1949 house. It's an older home,
Mhm.
so there's a lot of stuff that's been added to, taken away. So it's a hodgepodge, you know. But new construction's the same scenario, right? So I think that it's
Yep.
important. I highly recommend Chris because I can count on his integrity for honest work and fair pricing. You know, not the cheapest, not the most expensive, but certainly fair pricing. And you can get him out there. He'll do the good job for you. And I highly recommend you.
Thank you, Kathy. I'd like to also just add right quick that we are certified. I'm
deal.
certified chimney sweep with the Chimney Safety Institute of America.
Mhm.
Excuse me, and I'm also certified with the National Fireplace Institute as a gas installer. So I've had certifications, been through the training to know what I'm looking at.
Yes,
To get it done.
and the experience, too.
Yeah, get the experience.
Yes.
To get the job done.
Yes, well, I appreciate your time here today, and we'd just like for you to save this, share this, make comments on it, and if you have a chimney or a fireplace in any component, definitely give Chris a call, especially if yours has not been checked out, even if you don't use it, because it's worth checking out, because if you just never know what's going on, right?
Yeah, well, a lot of times folks don't use them, and it gets to be a situation where it powers out.
Yes.
Most gas fireplaces will work when the power's out. That hasn't been used in 5-10 years. Oh man, I need some heat to turn it on. Could be putting yourself. You're already in an emergency situation, and you're making it a lot worse.
That's a really good point. Really good point. So make some comments below, share it, and we just really appreciate you being here today. Thanks so much, Chris.
Thanks, Kathy. Appreciate your time.